The screen. I hope you both can see the screen I've shared with the dashboard of Insights. Um, the the start page where you first land when you started is always the dashboard table. And the dashboard is great for a quick overview of your daily sellings in on the auction, and gives a quick impression of your average price comparing with the average prices at the auction for your product. This is the dashboard is very you can make it you can customize it for yourself, and you can customize it on any device that you're using Insights. So you can create another preferences, for example, on your smartphone instead of on your computer. So on a computer you can take a look at other things, because most of the times the information you want to see can be different depending on the device you are working at. By default, there have been created about 10 different widgets, information widgets. Some of them are shown over here by default. For example, this revenue a graphic with the revenue for each auction day, and below some lots. I have selected, by the way, forgot to mention a Royal Florent internal grower number. It's 889. It's a number that is used for products that are re-auctioned, or something went wrong during the process and they're auctioned on the behalf of Royal Florent self. So it's allowed to show that without any privacy issues. And you can see here some of the widgets. I can change the position of a widget. For example, this is a widget with corrections. This is empty for this current auction day. But if I select a different day, the 2nd of November, you can see a little small red dot, and you can see that there have been two different corrections have been made, a counter booking and a new booking. I can say, hey, I want to change the position. This is less important, and you can put on this arrow to put it on another position, and it will show up below the auction lots. And if I say I want to put it below the average prices, it will show over here. And if you want to hide it at all, you can press on the minus button, and it will disappear. Any widgets that are not visible at this moment on your screen can be shown with this plus button. So if you press on this button, you can select all the widgets that are not currently active. For example, I can put the corrections back on my screen. It will show up on the as last position, and I can put it on another location, and I can put it on to the top if I think that's very important. Or you can change this behavior of your dashboard. For the clock lots, this is, I think, the most popular one. You can see that on the usage numbers. This gives a quick impression from what lot did I do. Even the lot number is mentioned. You can see the average price of the lot, the number of pieces sold, the characteristics, and also directly the average price at Le Royal Flor Holland. This specific widget has some extra settings over here. You can change that by the gear wheel. And if I press on the gear wheel, you directly see from, hey, this is the numbers that I want to display. I can add, for example, the quality, the pre-sale price, or the own average excluding pre-sale instead of including pre-sale. So you can make some different choices over here. I can remove that one. And if I change this behavior and I go back to the screen, the columns that are shown are changed. Wait a moment until it's loaded again. Now you can see, for example, this quality column that I've added to this overview. Almost on every location in Insights, if you see a table with data, there's a download button. This is this yellow orange button with download on it. If you press on it, it will create a CSV file. It's shown over here. And if you open this will open in Excel. What can be important if you use that is that for the export settings, there's a specific setting, and it is over here. This is the default settings page with some preferences. So all kinds of different ones to change the behavior of the data you see. You have the subscription information, colleagues that are also coupled to this organization. And this is the CSV export settings. And this is very important because it's depending on the language you work on with Excel, for example, your regional settings on your computer in the Netherlands. By default, the column separator is a semicolon, and the decimal separator is a comma. It's in English spoken countries it's different, and then if you use that, you have to change that. You say, hey, I want a semicolon as separator between columns and the comma as decimal separator, or the points. You can change this behavior. And if it's not set correctly, you can't open the CSV files directly in Excel, and you will see, for example, all the data in one single column. And if it's that happening, you can check the settings over here and change that to make it work for yourself. It's also possible to change the settings in Excel, but then you have always the problems with CSV files from another origin. I think it's most of the important things to mention about the dashboard. So it gives a quick overview of your selling results. With the daily report, you can get a far more detailed information about the prices on the clocks of Florida. And what you can see over here is also the revenue as the same as in the dashboard side, and the pieces sold and your own average. But what can be very interesting is the evolution over all your lots. So all your lots that have been auctioned are shown over here. And you can see exactly for each auction group that you're using, the prices of your own lots and the prices of the lots auctioned by other growers within the same auction group. For example, this is a specific group in Aalsmeer. There are here two products sold by another grower. You can see the average price. It's not much, it's 4 cents for this product. And you can see the average price from all the products that are sold for this grower specifically. You can see a picture of the product that has been auctioned. That can help to see what is exactly the product that has been sold, but can also say something about the quality of the photo that is used. The photo is nowadays very important at the auction, because all the buyers are buying with the computer, and most of the time they only see the photo made for each lot. And here you can check from, hey, maybe there's a very good picture used, or the price can be lower because the picture was not very good that was used for the auction. It can have an impact on the price. And if you select a certain lot, this is all the lots that are for this specific row, you can click on it. And you can see directly with all the transactions that have been made for this for row. This is only one transaction. It's a small lot with only two pieces. And you can see directly the information. Another quite important setting that has impact on different locations within Insights is this one. At this moment, the number of supplied, you can see this is twice times 80, 160 in total on pieces for this product, for this Gebra product. You can choose for yourself if you like to see the number of pieces per bucket and the number of buckets, or you want to see the total number of pieces. This time it shows us 2 times 80. And if I go to the settings, this is the filter. I have to go to the settings. You can the most setting on top is show pieces by unit. And if I disable this option and I go back to the daily report screen, okay, at this moment it's not shown anymore as 2 times 80, but it's 160 as the total average speed. So there are all kinds of different settings in the settings page, and you can check them if you like, well, what kind of settings there are. And the most of them have impact in the way Insights is functioning. What comes back in almost every page is also the filter option. I have not a very large screen at this moment. If you have use a larger screen, it's always shown on the left side of your inside screen. But if with a smaller screen, it comes up as a pop-up, and you can see all the filter options over here. And for example, you can select the location, the auction location, a specific product group. And see only, for example, see the roses. I go back to the screen, to the same screen I've was before. Now I don't see all the lots that have been auctioned by. I only see the roses that has been auctioned in with this grow number. We can use all kinds of different filters over here. And what this screen is used also, yeah, why it's quite important. For example, when you have an average price and saying, hey, it's not very high, and I am a little bit lower or higher than the average price at the auction. One of the most important factors is what was your position within the auction group. It can be very important for the price that you receive. And with this overview, you can directly see, from, hey, well, there are some other growers with a comparable product as I have. They have been auctioned before me or just after me, and this gives a very good impression of what was my position in the auction group, because it can be a very good explanation from the average price that you have received for your product. Go to the market view. Statistics will be the last one that I will explain something about. The market view. It shows all the auctioned products at Flora Holland. The average price for all products sold at the auction clocks of Royal Flora Holland. That's how I have to say this. You have always select at least one product group. If I disable all product groups, you just see a product index. The product index is just a long time indication of the price development of some product groups at a higher level. This is all the product groups that are shown over here. Can be, for example, summer flowers, but it's quite a lot of group with all kinds of different products. But it gives a quick impression of the price index at this moment. It's like the index at the stock market. You can compare it with this, how this is calculated. But what most of the time is used more in this screen is specific information of a product group. For example, if I go to a product group and I go to, I don't know, Alstroemeria, for example, if I check this group, I can see for the time period selected over here. At this moment, I only check for the actual prices of the current auction day. You can see for all the Alstroemeria products, the average price at the auction, highest price, the auction pieces supplied, direct pieces if available, and also the average prices for each location and the number of pieces. Also, this overview can be fine-tuned for yourself with this gear wheel button over here. It comes in a specific section of the settings page. Here is an option I will show over here. Show a printable version. One of the first questions before the starting of the meet was from how can I print correctly? I will show it over here. How does that work? And here are the columns that you can see. For example, I can say I'm not interested in the number of direct pieces. You can hide that quality. I don't have to see the pieces per location, but just the average price. I can change some of the behavior over here, change the columns. I go back to the screen. And now the number of direct pieces has disappeared the column, and I have only the average price for each auction location. If I click on a specific product, for example, the Alstroemeria Virginia, you'll see the breakdown on the main characteristic, the minimum length of the flower stem. You can see all here over here the 4 different lengths this product has been auctioned with, and you can see the average price for each specific length has been. Gives some more information. There was an option for a printable version. I'll explain what this do. Show a printable version of market view. The scroll bar is not used. If I disable this option, I don't have a printable version of the screen. I'll explain how that is working. At this moment, there's a scroll bar within this overview. And the scroll bar is only, it shows all products, but you have to scroll down this page to see it all. We don't have an inside specific print option, but if you want to print, you can use the print function within the browser itself. And I can click over here in the browser menu, go to the print. You'll see a preview of the print output. And because I have used a scroll bar, you don't see all the. You see quite a lot of products over here. But you see the scroll bars over here to the side. It's not very good at this moment. If I turn this option on, the scroll bar is not used. Go back to the screen. Yes, now you can scroll not within the site, but with the whole page. And I go to the print option of the browser. I have to change one setting, and that's quite important. If you do try the default scale, not all columns will fit, and you'll get yeah, not very much information. Some of the information you can see over here, you see only 2 locations, and the rest is not shown anymore. If you make a custom scale and approximately 45% and printing, well, it's shown over here in the preview, and maybe you can't see the read the preview over here, but now I can see that all columns are shown correctly. It's not the characters are not very big, but everything fits on the page, and now you can create a printed report, and you can print it if you like these kinds of overviews. If you say, hey, I want to create a PDF from this, and I don't want to use a really print it on a paper, but I want a PDF which I can share with some other colleagues or other people within my organization. You can choose over here as destination, save as PDF, and then you create the overview over here as you can see it as a PDF. So we don't have specific extra additional options within Insights to create a report or a PDF, but you can use the browser's functionality to do that, to create the same. And over here as well, you can say I want to see the actual price of the day. You can also say I want it from the current month. Oh, it's not so long. The previous month. So this one. You can press the download button and it will download all the data. And if I press here apply, it will show for Alstom Media, there's still my selected product group. You will see a graphic with the average prices for each individual auction day. And in this graphic over here, this is now the summary for the whole previous month for October 2022. And this you can change it if you like to a fixed period. You can set a begin and a start date for yourself, or you can choose one of the preset dates, and these preset dates automatically will update every day. If I select today as date, if I log in tomorrow, I will also see the data of November 4th. This goes automatically, always shows the actual day from the current auction day, or for example, the current week or the last 7 days is just what you prefer. Um, what can be useful is using bookmarks. It's quite an option that has been added a few months ago. And a bookmark is saving the filter selection that I have over here. For example, if I create a bookmark and I'll mark this as Alstom Media, you can give a name to the bookmark. I will save it. You can work and change and do everything you like with this bookmark. But if I remove this one and I said I did create a different filter and on Deontes, and do an apply on this, I go back and I say, hey, I want to go back to my filter I used before with Alstom Media. It was a very simple example, but you can also use all kinds of different combinations of filter options with locations, with specific products or characteristics. And it can be quite a lot of work to recreate it. But now I can also say, hey, I want to reload my Alstom Media bookmark that I've been creating. And if I load this one and I'll apply, it will show directly the Alstom Media bookmark. In a previous demo, I created a Roses 4060 bookmark. I don't know exactly what it's containing, but if I apply this one, it will load. It will say, hey, this is the rose large flowered with 3 different stem lengths. There's 40 centimeters, 50 and 60. And this is the market view I created. So you can create different bookmarks, different filter options. You can save them and reuse them if you like. And the filter options as well, if you have a large high resolution screen, it will always show on the left side of the screen. With a small screen, you can pop them up with this button, and you will see over here all the different options. And most used are the main groups, product groups, but you can also specify very specific ones. For example, the color of your product, the package type code, country of origin, the pieces of unit can be filtered. You can filter on everything you like, and all kinds of characteristics used. for example, for roses, are these the characters used? And you can say, hey, I want to specify only specific values that are used for this for my selection. Last one is the statistics. I will show two specific statistic reports you can create. There are 8 different templates for creating a report. And you can, when you go with your mouse over each description, there's a short explanation what it's doing and what you can do with it. If I create one, I'll give it a name, product demo 11/3. I can share it with colleagues within my organization. Okay, create it. And it will come with some default settings. For example, this report shows all products for the last 7 days. I can also say I want it for the current week, just what you prefer. And it will show all the products that have been sold for the number I've selected. And you see the product overview, pieces sold, revenue, average, clock average. So for example, this is a report with over totals for each product. And you can also create some extra additions to create, for example, the characteristic, the main characteristic added to it as an extra column. Or if you do move this, you can add also a specific filter. If I choose, I want to see only the roses and I want to see the Anthurium products that have been sold on this number, you will only see this one. And this is added in the filter. This filter will be coupled to this specific product that I've been creating, Anthurium and largest roses. You see over here, I have some Anthuriums and some roses over here. If you go back to this screen and I reopen this report, you will see that it will come exactly as I created it. With one important thing, you select here the current week, and if you use it as a relative date, it will always show the current week. So you don't have to recreate every new week a different report or change the settings. If I reopen this report next week, it will show all the data from the next week. If I disable this option, it will be a fixed size. So it will choose the current week, but it will not change automatically when you reopen it. Only if you choose it as a relative date. One extra thing, what can be useful if I click on this product, we'll see a breakdown for all the buyers that have been buying this product. See exactly from, hey, what buyers have been active for this product. Be very useful to see very quickly which buyers buy some specific products of yourself. You see them ranked over the period specified over here. So all kinds of different ones. You can also create a buyer report that gives an overview of all the buyers. And when you click on a buyer, it will show the products that this buyer has been buying. It's just the counter-wise of this previous report. A week revenue, also quite a lot of used demo week. This will show all the data from the last 3 years and give very quickly an overview. You see the total revenue for the last 3 years in the current year. The pieces sold average price, and you can see it in a table by week. So for each week, you can see from what was my revenue this week, the number of pieces, what is the average, what's cumulative, what is the growth, and you can compare it with the years before. And the red color is meaning that it is lower than the value it was in the year before. If here is black, is 4,400 euros is higher than 3,700. But for this week 6 this year is 5,000, and it was 6,000 the year before. So that's why this is shown in red. And this is all your revenue, but you can also use this, for example, to do this for a specific filter. And what can be very useful is it's loading the product groups. I will close this. You can also use this, for example, to add a specific buyer. For example, 3 flowers. So now it's a large buyer for this grower. But if I set a filter on these buyers, load the data, and now you can see exactly. It's not a very large buyer, but I can see for each year exactly in which week did he buy products from me. And If you select one of your top 10 customers, for example, you can see from, hey, is he buying more or less than the year before or 2 years ago? It can be very useful to create a report and use these extra filter options to see all kinds of data. Yeah, these are all different kinds of overviews, but one of them I want to show as well. It's the most complicated one, because then you will not get a template with data, but it's an empty report if you create this one. And I will make an example demo custom 11.3. It's a little bit more complicated than the other report types, but it's also giving, yeah, the unlimited is maybe too much, but it gives lots of insights that you can create with it. Once you select the field, the data set yourself that you want to compare. You create all kinds of different data sets, and you can use it, for example, to compare the prices of a specific length from a product with another product with a different length of the same length for a different product. Or you compare very easily the prices that you get, for example, for the different locations. If you auction in Alsmere at Naaldwijk or in Rijnsburg, you can very easily compare the average prices, but you can also compare, and that's what I want to show today in the demo, is what are my average prices for roses that I receive, and what is the average prices for the same product group at Royal Flora Holland. And I want to see that for the note previous month, for October. This is the time period I will select. You can also then you can create filter options, and this is a little bit different as in the other reports. You can create a data set, and then it will pop up with a selection screen, and here you can use all these kinds of different things to create a specific data set. You can see over here, you can see its locations that you're using, you can use product groups, and by default, it will only show data that you're using for yourself. In this number, there's lots of different product groups are used, but if you're using for yourself, maybe 2 or 3 different product groups, you will only see the product groups that are used by yourself. For example, I choose roses. I want to see the prices of rose large flowered. And I'll give it the names, load large myself. I want to see my own prices. These are all the options that are active at this moment. I can choose the color of the data set I want to see it. I want to see this in red. This is clock direct pre-sale. These are some default settings. A rose large round that have been added, and all kinds of different orders. So the normal orders, counter orders, and the corrections. And if I save this and I click here on the screen, I've now created one data set. And this is all the roses. So revenue in the previous month was 2,000 euros. This is the number of pieces supplied, average price, and not sold. You can see it here in the graphic and in a data set for each specific day within this time period. If you create a second data set, you say, hey, I want to now create what were the roses at Royal Flora Holland. That's the name I'm creating. Different color, by default it's purple. This one is nice. I have to check also a specific product group. I can choose a product group, but I didn't show. You can also press on this button, and you can also specify a specific product. And I will show that I compare what I can do with this. These are the rows at Royal Flora Holland. This is all the types. But now I go to this option, the data auction wide. By default, it's showing your personal data, direct sales, clock sales, and pre-sales. I can also show data wide. It will remove the direct sales, but you can see all together all the clock sales and the clock pre-sales of Flora for roses. And if I save this one, create a second data set, and these are roses at Royal Front in total. Now you can see the difference here. In the last month, it was 28 million euros. The number of prices, the average price, but you can see this graphic from what was my average price, that was the red line, and what is the average price from Water for Land. And you see that this grower is not getting the highest price, but it's a little bit below the average prices. And within for each data, you can see the data for yourself for the first data set and the second data set with all the data available. But you can also create another one and say, I want to see also one specific rows. I add a third data set. And now I want to see from one typical rose, for example, the Athena, what the Flora Holland prices were. because I'm very interested in this product. Tina at the Royal Floralland. You can create a personal name. Choose a more pliable color. It's a bit of yellow. And I can select auction-wide data. And I'll save this, and I've created a third data set, and it gives the average prices of Athena at Royal Floralland and the total revenue. And you can see this is also added to the graphic and also to the thing. So you can select all kinds of different data sets which you want to compare with each other. But now I've done something with different roses and the prices, but you can also create a data set for Alsmeer and one for Naaldwijk and one for Rijnsburg, of a data set for specific colors. If you're working with specific colors, and what do my yellow products do and what do my red products do? Because you're free to compare anything with what you like, and that's the power of this custom report type. You are free to compare anything with anything you like, and the only limitation is all the different options that are shown over here in this location. You could do it on location, on product groups, on catalog information that is something to do with how you're using Floriday. You can do it on specific characteristics. The auction wide I've shown already. You can also compare, for example, your direct sellings with your clock sellings. You can see the difference between what are my prices at the clock and what are the pre-sale prices. What's the difference? You can create buyer reports. You can select if you use different grower numbers, specific names on grower numbers. Other is all these kinds of things, color, country of origin, product quality. You can use all kinds of different combinations of filters. And that's why it's so powerful to use this custom report. These were the things I want to show at first to give an impression of everything, what can be done, and what is some of the things that have been recently added to Insights. Are there any specific questions or things you always wanted to know? Then is this the moment. So feel free to ask any questions. Don't forget to unmute your microphone.
Hi, I want to know quickly from you, but this is going back to the market view and between the market view and the daily report quickly. If I go into my market view, there's a lot of type. If you go to the bottom with your products, you see a overig product.
Yes.
If I go into my daily report on the same date, when you scroll to see the other buyers compared to my stuff, how can I see that overig product? I don't see it on my side.
You mean you don't see every product that is shown in the market view in a daily report? I think.
Yeah, if I go into the market view, then I will
Yes.
see, for instance, Protea overig that
Yeah.
was sold yesterday. Yeah, but if I go into the daily report and I
Now you
go
don't see that,
see,
you can't find that product. No,
yeah,
that is because the daily report is only showing all the products that are sold on the same auction group as you're using, and that is
okay.
also location dependently. So if you, for example, only sell your products in Aalsmeer,
Hmm?
you can only see that type of data that is shown in market view also in the daily report if it's sold in the same auction group that you were using on the same location. So in the daily report, you can't see all the clocks, there's all the different auction groups, but you see only the auction group which are you participating for yourself, and that's why not all products shown over here in this overview. For example, now I have roses, all the roses that are sold on all locations can also be, for example, not a Royal Front location, but for example, if it's only sold on Plantion, you will see the price over here. But you won't see that if you're not auctioning for yourself in Plantion in the daily report overview.
Okay, that's good. Now at least I know that.
Yes. Any other questions? Thomas, was it clear how you can print your data? If you want to see more examples of how you can print?
I'm fine with that. I just want to know that Stats that you did as well, that revenue per week that you did, is there somehow that you can do that same report, but not per week, but do it per month? Because that's quite nice.
No, the only option is it is by week. There's not an option to create a month report, but I will mention it as a thing. But I think it could be interesting.
At the moment, I'm pulling the data and then I'm doing a monthly report. So it's all
Yeah.
in Excel with lookups and everything. So, but it should be quite interesting to see if we can do it per month. That would be really
Okay,
nice.
you can always see. You can always create what is shown in the what was it? The product demo. This one. I can also say I want to see the previous month, for example, the last complete month. What you see, this is the summary for this month, for October. You can see also all the totals in summary. You can download this if you like. If you download this, the summary of all the revenues will be the same as the summary over here. But it's not automatically shown each month for all the summaries. Because that's something you would like comparable with this report, I think. The demo week, but not for week. But then you see this for each month.
Oh,
So
yeah.
13 rows.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that it's not very difficult, so I'll note it as a wish. Maybe we can edit this somewhere in the coming months.
Yeah, no problem. It's nothing urgent. It's just going to make my life easier.
That's very good. I like to make life easier for our customers. Any other questions or wishes can also be noted.
I think I'm fine for now. I actually just came for a checkup and then very interesting. No more questions from my side.
Thomas, do you have any questions? Yeah, your microphone is muted at this moment. If you like, you can also add your questions by the chat option if you like, but otherwise you have to unmute yourself and you can ask your question. If you don't have any other questions, then I will end this meeting. I will stop the recording.